Thank you for coming this morning. My name is Margaret Vaughn, V-A-U-G-H-N. I am the Government Affairs Director for both the Illinois Firefighters Association as well as the Illinois Fire Safety Alliance. The purpose of our press conference today is to educate the public on a new law that's going to be coming into effect January 1st. What the law will do is it will require homes, if they still have this old style smoke detector model with the removable batteries that are usually hanging out or not present, to be replaced with this model that has a 10-year sealed battery that cannot be taken out, and even if it could, it can't be used for any other devices, versus this one that has the removable batteries. The batteries that it takes can be used for other devices, so there's actually an incentive to rip them out. Why are we doing this? Why is this a law? Well, just to kind of give you an example, last year alone in 2021, in Illinois, this isn't nationwide, in Illinois, there were 97 residential fire deaths, the majority occurring in homes without working smoke detectors. So the majority of those deaths could have potentially been avoided had they had the working smoke detectors. So the technology is there. We researched this several years back, and we found out that these devices were out there, but they were not required by law. Now, residential smoke detectors are not something new in Illinois. They've been required since 1988. In 1988, the smoke detector law passed, requiring all dwellings in Illinois to have a smoke detector. At that same time, all homes built after 1988 were required to have the alarms built in. So if you're confused as whether this law applies to me or not, if you have hardwired alarms, you would not have to get this model. However, if you have an older home built prior to 1988 and you still have this type, you'd have to replace it with this. So that's the difference there. The technology was there. To have the technology and not be able to use it and have all these fire deaths, which could have been prevented, was something that we needed to change. So we actually passed the law back in 2017, but like anything related to a building or fire code, it didn't have an immediate effective date because we had to give people a chance to be educated on it so they would have time to comply, because our goal is not to do a got ya and try to get people in trouble. Our goal is compliance, so we wanted to give people time to be educated on it. So the actual effective date is January 1st. So next I'm going to introduce Phil Zaleski. He's the Executive Director of the Illinois Fire Safety Alliance, and he's the one that researched this to bring the idea forward for the legislation.
Thank you, Margaret. I am here to talk about two items, both the cost effectiveness as well as the functionality of these new 10-year sealed battery smoke alarms. As far as the cost effectiveness goes, these alarms cost anywhere from $15 to $20. You can find them at any hardware store. Now, they are a little more expensive than your traditional old model, your 9-volt battery smoke alarm that typically costs about $5. But where you're going to see the cost savings is you no longer have to have the battery replacement. With the older models, if you followed the fire department's lead and replaced your smoke alarm batteries every 6 months, over the 10-year lifespan of those alarms, you'd be spending an extra $40 to $60 per alarm in your home. If you have four or five alarms in your home, that could be an additional $200, $250 in additional battery costs over the 10-year lifespan of those alarms. There we go. So there is cost savings in the new 10-year sealed battery smoke alarms. As far as the functionality goes, where we see a lot of the smoke. As far as the functionality goes, where we see a lot of the smoke alarms being disabled or the batteries taking out is near the kitchen area. This is a result of the nuisance alarms that take place when people are cooking. With the new smoke alarms, these alarms have a hush button feature in which you simply push the button, the alarm will deactivate for 15 minutes, and then it will automatically reactivate after that 15 minutes. So there's no need to take the alarm off your wall or ceiling. There's no need to take the battery out. You simply push the button, the device will deactivate itself for 15 minutes, and then reactivate after that. So we think with this, with the new technology, with the batteries being sealed in the alarms and the hush button feature, that this should hopefully save and protect lives across the state of Illinois. Now, the Illinois Fire Safety Alliance, along with the State Fire Marshal's Office, back in 2018, came out with the Be Alarmed Smoke Alarm Installation Program. This program, run jointly between the two agencies, provides these 10-year sealed battery smoke alarms to over 230 fire departments across the state of Illinois. The fire departments then educate the residents on smoke alarms and fire escape plans, as well as do the installations of the alarms in their homes to protect their residents from any type of fires that may occur. The Decatur Fire Department is a department that is part of this program, and we are also here today to recognize them for their efforts within the community, in which they've installed 463 alarms since they've joined the program. So, Deputy Chief Klein, I'd like to present you with this plaque and thank you for your efforts with your installations. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Phil. It's been a pleasure working with the Illinois Fire Safety Alliance in the Be Alarmed program, and hopefully we will continue that productivity with our personnel and taking the opportunity to install functional 10-year smoke detectors in the residence when we have the opportunity. There's nothing more heartbreaking than responding to a fatal fire and find non-working or non-existent smoke alarms in the home. While the number of fire deaths has decreased over the past few decades, you're more likely to die in a residential fire than you were from years ago. This is because the majority of the deaths are caused by smoke inhalation, not by burns, which is why escape time is so crucial. Toxic gases that are emitted from synthetic materials in modern homes, as opposed to the more natural fibers, wood that were used in the past, contribute to this problem. And flashovers occurring as little as 3 minutes, whereas just a generation ago it was more like 30 minutes before a flashover occurred. You had time to react to a fire once it was discovered. With the synthetics, combustibles that are comprised in the modern homes today, flashover occurs very, very rapidly. So it's essential, a smoke alarm is an effective, life-saving tool that does provide you a window of opportunity to safely exit the home when seconds count. Thank you.
And next we have our acting state fire marshal, Dale Simpson, who has been a huge proponent for the Be Alarm program and the smoke detectors in general.
Thank you. Again, my name is Dale Simpson. I'm acting state fire marshal. Fire doesn't discriminate and can happen anytime, anywhere, and to anyone. It can happen to you, your neighbors, your friends, and your family. The Office of the Illinois State Fire Marshal is very proud to support the Be Alarm program, which continues to provide life-saving education and smoke alarms to residents in Illinois. Fire departments like the Decatur Fire Department getting out into their communities and making a difference. It's very simple. Working smoke alarms save lives. Each smoke alarm installed, along with the education delivered, reduces the risk for tragedies in our communities. We encourage everyone to check and test your smoke alarms monthly in your homes to ensure that they remain working. Replace the batteries every 6 months in non-expired older alarms, typically when you change the clocks in your homes, as the time change is a built-in reminder. Replace expired or broken alarms with these new 10-year sealed batteries like we have here today. We encourage everyone to hold a family meeting, develop an escape plan, and designate an outside meeting place. Fire department pulls up on the scene and everybody's outside. It takes a lot of stress off of everybody there. Any family staying with you during the holiday season, it's very important that they too are aware of your fire escape plan and your meeting place location. These simple steps can help reduce the risk of a tragedy from occurring in your community. I'd like to thank you, the Decatur Fire Department, and please stay safe.
Thank you. Just kind of to wrap it up, if you, again, you're not sure whether you need to comply or not, and you think, oh, well, you know, I've tested this smoke detector, batteries are working, it's fine. Actually, the manufacturer cannot guarantee that the smoke detector with this old school model will function after 10 years. And you see that there's a date on the back when the device was made. So most of you probably have smoke detectors on the wall that are like discolored because they've been up there so long. So even if you change the battery, even if you do the test and it works, if it's over 10 years old, it's, you know, there's no guarantee during a fire that it's going to actually save your family. So for the peace of mind and to comply with the new law and to save money, we're asking everyone to go out. You can go to any big box store, any hardware store, or you can order them online and make sure that your family is protected with this 10-year model. Again, those 97 people that perished in Illinois alone last year when they went to bed the night before, they had no idea that they weren't going to wake up the next day. So in honor of those folks, let's try to see if we can, a year from now, if we can get those fire deaths down. The technology is there, but as our fire marshal said, it's not any good unless you use it. So we appreciate it. We'd be happy to answer any questions now or after the event. If anyone would like to do a separate interview, we'd be happy to do that as well. And we appreciate you coming out today.
Great. For someone who wants one of these but doesn't think they can afford one, that you said the fire department has installed them for free, how does someone get a free?
Flip this play out.
As you can see, an event can happen anytime.
Unit